do women fantasize about rape? Why women fantasize about rape? According to some studies, up to 62% of women have fantasized about rape. It is worth keeping in mind that the sample is not very correct. Only 355 women participated in this particular survey. At the same time, most of them indulged in such fantasies infrequently, on average about 4 times a year. But we cannot deny the obvious. Women run such scenarios through their heads, and not only in a negative way. In only 9% of cases, the thoughts caused disgust. 45% of the fantasies were purely erotic, while 46% were somewhere between erotic and disgusting. Rape fantasies can have several reasons. Avoidance of negative emotions. Imagine a woman who was raised in a strict family. She was told from a young age that sex was a sin and a filth, and it's hard for her to completely get rid of her childhood attitudes. Even when she fantasizes about intimacy, she feels guilt and shame. The violent scenario becomes a way out. After all, the woman does all these shameful things in her fantasy under duress. She is not, which helps her remove some of the responsibility for what is going on. Following common scenarios in love novels of times past, there is often a plot in which a dangerous man is so attracted to the protagonist that he just can't resist, and she is modest and decent. Sex before marriage can ruin her reputation, so he has to be overly persistent to make what the book was actually written for happen. In fantasy, too, a woman sometimes wants to feel so desirable that the man is literally unable to stop. And sometimes the scenario may feature someone with whom she would never contact in her sober mind. Or, for example, a girl has no plans to cheat on her current partner even in her head. Forcing sex in this case allows the fantasy and reality to friend. Trying to let go of control. A woman's orgasm is a complicated thing. Not every sex ends with it, and during coitus, the partner can worry a lot about her pleasure, her partner's sensations, her appearance, and so on. The fantasy of coercion allows her to literally relax and immerse herself in the process. The mental lover does exactly what she needs and likes, because everything happens in her head. Sexual openness studies show that women who enjoy sex and feel no anxiety or guilt about it often fantasize about rape, among other scenarios, simply because it's an opportunity to safely run anything through their minds. Past violence. It's not an uncommon occurrence, but some people with similar experiences periodically fantasize about violence. Really, it's not because they enjoy forced sex. Rather, it's a way of replaying the scenario and making sure that this time they are the ones in control of the situation. That is, it's how they try to take control of all their past experiences, where they were completely deprived of it. Why the rape fantasy has nothing to do with reality. People who try to normalize sex abuse often use fantasies as an argument that nothing terrible is happening. After all, women think about it, so there, the dream becomes reality. Of course, this is not true at all. For starters, fantasies of forced sex arise for all sorts of reasons. For example, are based on an old trauma, and those who haven't had such experiences simply try on different stories. That doesn't mean they want to try everything. But let's say that this fantasy is purely erotic. Do you fantasize about rape?